Hello everyone and welcome to a new PHP programming tutorial. So in the previous video we experimented with selecting the data from the database, inserting new data, right, and updating and finally deleting information from the database. I didn't go into much details about SQL commands, but the idea is that you pass SQL commands through the query method, and we will practice this more later on. Um, now, before we continue further, there are a few other things that we want to address regarding databases. And basically, there are two which I think very important: transactions and parameterized queries. So today we are going to talk about transactions. Now, one of the issues that you might encounter when trying to work with the database is that it's not very straightforward as in these examples. In this example, we are just inserting one record, but in some cases you need to update 4, 5, maybe 6 tables, insert data into some, remove from others, and so on. So it is very possible that a problem happens, the server might crash or something like that happen during the execution of these statements, which would result usually in unfinished or partially updated information. Does that make sense? So let's change this a little bit. Let's have a look at the insert command here. Okay, so we have this insert command and it is inserting Michael, as you can see here. So instead of inserting Michael, I will create a number of users, maybe 100 users, into the database just to show you what's happening, and then I will cause an error. So here, for I equals 0, semicolon, I smaller than 100, and I plus plus. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna say insert into users. I'm gonna call this user dot $i. So the result of this insert page is inserting 100 rows. As you can see, the loop starts from 0 ending with 99, and inserting user, this will be 0, so user 0, then it will be 1, so user 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 100. This is not a realistic example. You don't create users this way, right? But I'm just showing you an example when you want to do lots of commands against the database. So 100 insert operations. Let's start this one first. So let's go to the select first. We have these 4 records. So let me go back, and now let's go to insert. Yeah. Okay, so here in the insert server version, MariaDB for the right syntax near .0. Okay, so here, oh, I am very sorry. Insert into, well, before I do this, I need to make this double quotation, sorry. And then we close single quotation. The way I wrote the string is wrong. And basically, I shouldn't do this. I should use parameterized query, but we will handle this later on. Regardless of that, so now let us repeat the statement and it says okay. So basically now we have 100 records available. So if we select the data, you can see we have user 0, 1, and so on up to 100. And just to get rid of these users, delete from users, where username I'm gonna make it like user percentage. Basically, I am instructing the database to remove all the users. Those username starts with user followed by whatever. So user 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 99, they will all be removed from the database because I want to remove this information. So let's go to delete, and that's it. Um, Now the message is not accurate, but let's say users removed. Users has been removed. That's it. We save. Okay. Okay, users have been removed, and if we do a select, okay, everything is back as it is. Now, let's go back to the insert. Let's assume that it's essential that those 100 commands to be executed, either they will all be executed or none of them get executed. This is basically uh, very important in most of the applications, because you don't want the user to, let's say, purchase a product and not pay things, for example, or you don't want the user to change his contact information, uh, and not have that information get updated across all the tables and so on. So, yeah, so let's go and come on. So here I'm gonna make an error, right? So I'm gonna say if random int of 0 followed by modulus 33 equals 0. At that point I will say through new exception error. So here, what am I trying to say? Maybe actually make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so basically the program will generate a random number, and if this random number is divisible by 7, I will throw an exception. So I'm not sure how many records will be inserted into the database, and then I will get this error. Okay, but basically what's going to happen is that you won't get 100 rows inserted. So let's demonstrate that. Okay, so let's go back here. I will just say first select nothing, right? I mean only the original names. So I will say insert, and okay, so we got an error. Okay, so let me see how many rows. You can see that we got, 9 records. 9 records has been inserted into the database, and then an error, right? So let me remove those. Go back here and let's insert again. Okay, and let's go back and select again. Now it's different, right? So as you can see, the problem here that I made an artificial error here, right? But in many cases, it's not that you are making an artificial error, but rather there is things that you didn't account for. Like, for example, you forget to check a division by 0 or something like that, which would trigger an error in the program. And this will result in half updated database. Now, to solve this issue, there is something called a transaction. The idea behind the transaction is very simple. You combine all the operations against the database into one logical unit, and this one logical unit either get executed fully or none at all, right? So how do you do that? Well, it's so easy. All you have to do when you want to start such updates, you just say CRO begin transaction. So when you write this, basically the database now understands that these changes you are doing will not be saved until you tell it that everything is fine. Okay, so how do you tell the database that your updates has been completed successfully? I'm gonna say CRO commit, right? So if you say to the database commit, then basically what is gonna happen is what's gonna happen, I think this one should be small. We will see. Basically what's gonna happen is that all these changes will be actually saved. If there is any error whatever, all the changes will be discarded. Okay, so let's save this one. Now let's demonstrate. First let's select, there is nothing, right? So let's go and insert, and there is an error, right? So let's go back, let's make a select, nothing, as you can see here. Let's repeat this, insert, this is an error, again error, error. Well, basically division by 7, it's very possible to happen within 100. Getting a random number divisible by 7 is very common when you are generating random number between 0 and 100. So let's make it divisible by 17. Hopefully we don't get the error. So refresh now, still error, come on. Okay, come on. Okay, let's choose something else. 117. So I guess now it will work. Now since this one worked, okay, so let's go back here, let's make a select. You will find that all the records has been inserted. So let's go back here, let's remove these and go back, and instead of make it divisible by 50, something like that, save this. I'm reducing this now. First select again, go back. So let's make an insert. So there is an error. Refresh again. Now it works. So the first time it didn't work, second time it worked. So let's go back here, make a select. You'll find the rows here. Let me remove these again. Go back and select. That's fine. Now let's insert. There is an error. Again, before I continue, let me just select nothing. Go back, insert again, still an error. If we do a select, nothing. Insert again, now it worked. We make a select, you find the information is there. So basically the transaction command, begin transaction and commit transaction, made all these 100 insert statements as one logical unit or one big update. And if they all get executed successfully, we reach this point and they will all be saved. If there is any error whatsoever and for some reason your code doesn't reach this part, the execution will be cancelled. All these updates will be reverted. And by the way, this doesn't have to be an insert. It could be insert, update, delete, whatsoever. You could do whatever. I'm just demonstrating the commit. Now there is also a command called rollback. So you could do a transaction and instead of saving things, you realize there's a problem or something. So instead of calling commit, you call something called the rollback. Basically, it will roll back the database to the point where begin transaction is. Okay, but this is what I wanted you to focus on and understand today. Yeah, that will be all. Um, I hope you find this useful, and see you tomorrow. Take care and bye bye.